welcome to take a drink, whether it's a bottle of water or hot water, whatever it is.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I brought this a little closer here, so you can get closer to this camera and microphone and be able to switch. Your presentation is open. That's on the desktop. The only thing to do is, I'll be here, but just in case I don't take care of time, just share the screen. Please do it. We are, we have it already in YouTube. But I need to bring it down because this is the only thing that is showing in the entire thing, okay? Bringing into this, all I would need is the broadcast via YouTube.
Okay, but it's not gonna post. You can't post this in public. Okay, YouTube.
Down.
Or did mention that before.
Yes, all the videos are recorded and You need to follow me, yeah. And but I see the goal, we need to go, swimming as well. So anyone who wants to watch it or be able to have from, that can able to watch.
Because it's not gonna be relevant even much longer, some of the stuff that I talk about, because it's 2024, 2025 is coming.
Well, you can make that, possibility, this is good until December 31st.
Ebenezer, is anyone waiting to get in? I should look.
Let me start the meeting because I have it,
Good, start the meeting, then I can let people in who are.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, let me start the meeting on the other side.
Perfect, okay. Morning.
Good morning, how are you? Good.
Morning.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, it's really nice outside, huh?
Oh, it's been beautiful. We do need the rain though.
That is true. Okay. But you're signing in the wrong place. You're over here, James.
Oh,
I'm trying to figure out where, how come your name's not there?
Mary gonna be here?
No, she is not. I'm supposed to take over here. Let's see. Oh, Mary's here. There she is.
Well,
See if I know how to do this.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's start promoting people.
Good.
Okay, we promote everyone. I don't know what's happening with Rosie Bernard. I tried to promote her, but it's not happening.
Like come closer. Next, we're gonna start soon.
Yeah.
That the number, as you'll see, trying to think. It might make sense for the two of you. So you want to come over here?
Sure.
And that way you can see, you'll be able to see the members over there, and James, you'll just move closer to me. And that way we'll have a better.
James.
good morning. Good, how are you?
Okay. So you're in journalism school,
Yes.
okay, and Craig Newmark is Craig Newmark is part of New Cutie,
Yes,
it's one of the schools,
yes, it's the graduate school.
graduate school for journalism, that's what's, okay, got it, cool. Okay, and Vincent's here, and James Wilkins is on my list, okay.
Yes, if I got an email from Dory Garcia that she won't be able to attend the meeting because she has a work-related meeting.
I almost always have a work-related meeting, but okay. Okay, hold on. Perfect. Yes. November 7th. Okay, so we have been. We'll start in 30 seconds. I'm just going to take care of one more thing. Vincent, how do you spell your last name?
SCO,
SCO.
CO again,
CO.
CCA.
Two C's? No, C-O, S-C-O,
SCO again,
got it.
Zebra Apple.
Okay, got it. Okay. Is that an A, Anushka? Okay.
Is it weird if I sit here?
It's fine. The only thing is you're gonna have a not great view unless you look it that way, but I'm okay either way.
Well, I'm gonna swivel around, I'm talking.
I'm fine with that.
See these folks too.
Okay, everyone's here supposed to be here? Oh, here's the agenda. Okay. Great. Are there extra agendas? You want an agenda? You got an agenda. Okay. It's 10:38. James, maybe you'll help me try to take notes also, but I'm gonna try to do both somehow.
Right.
Okay. Are we recording, Ebenezer? That started already? The meeting is being sensitive, but I think we're recording. Also, we're being recorded already. Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Yosef Kalinsky. I'm the assistant chair. Today I'll be chairing the meeting. Ebenezer, we're already recording, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. And in person, in our room, we have one more committee member. James, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm James Bosley, member of the Aging Committee and also Traffic and Transportation and I'm a community.
Perfect. And Mary, you want to introduce yourself online?
Sure. I'm Mary Anderson. I'm chair of this committee. I'm unable to join in person because of surgery on my foot. So I'm home recuperating, but happy to be here and relinquishing my leadership role to Yosef, my assistant chair. I'm also co-chair of WICOA and also president of the board of directors at Star Senior Center.
Excellent. Okay. And we have two individuals in the room. Vincent, you want to introduce yourself, and then obviously we'll get to you soon.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. My name is Vincent Skakoza. I am a public affairs specialist for the Social Security Administration, overseeing the Bronx borough as well as the Inwood Hill area. Happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Anishka. I'm a journalism graduate student at Craig Newmark. I was assigned to cover the local communities here in Washington Heights and Inwood.
Excellent. Excellent. So I guess we should.
Joseph, I'm sorry, we also have Carol
Yes.
Wilkes, who's on the committee.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go. I'm now going to go look at correct. I'm going to look at those who are on the screen as well. Trying to look
Got
at
it.
both at once. Carol, you want to introduce yourself? You have to unmute first, probably.
Carol Weeks, Dykeman, Program Director and proud member of this committee. I don't have any other good things to say about myself.
Okay, but you have an assignment, Carol, for next month to come up with at least two. Or we will have to do that for you.
I'll give it some thought.
Okay, anyone else want to chime in? There's no particular order here. I see two individuals, Miriam or Laura.
Hello, Laura Whitehorn, she, her, from Release Aging People in Prison, and have been on and off member of this committee for many, many years, and very happy for the support that this community board has given to our initiatives to include incarcerated elders in the community, recognized as our aging community.
Okay, and Miriam?
Miriam Ravner. I work at MJHS, Hospice and Palliative Care. And I am also on the executive by WICOA.
Perfect. Okay.
Can you
And,
explain what WITOR stands for?
uh,
Because there are new people in the room and.
Mary, you want to do that?
Washington Heights and Inwood Coalition for the Aging.
Like our sister program, I guess, for similar agendas. Okay, so it's good to see those in person, those on Zoom. It's a busy time, busy week for everybody. So I see Liz is joining now. Hold on, give me one more second to try to. Oh, there's more people here. I'm sorry, I'm promoting 2 more people here. You got that, Ebenezer? Okay. But I think at this point,
Okay, I heard it. Indiana, probably. The same with Washington. Washington now. Let's see, go.
oh, okay. There's a delay between when people get promoted. I guess that's how it is in life too, between being promoted and actually showing up on the screen. All right, I do want to move forward though. I see we have Lisa here now. And Liz is sort of here. We recognize her as well. I want to move on to the agenda right now, but I see that Rosie's here and Lisa's here and Liz is sort of here in the loud location. So if it's okay, I'm sure we'll hear from you a little bit later. I want to move on to the beginning of the agenda to hear the presentation related to Social Security from Vincent. Please. Oh, and Ebenezer, you have the PowerPoint ready to go?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Will you advance the slides or?
Come over here, because I need to do something else now.
Is there a remote, Ebenezer?
I didn't find it, but you can do it from here and understand.
However you want to do it. Oh, can I do it? Oh, maybe I could do it. I think I should be able to do it. Let me see if I can.
think so. The screen is this one. Let me see if I can find a clicker. I need to make a phone call right now.
Okay.
Can I spin this around?
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Great.
Pretend you own it.
I don't want to break anything. I do want to be able to
Yeah, I don't think I can advance
see
it.
the audience. Okay. And good morning, everybody. Again, my name is Vincent Scacosa,
Sorry.
Public Affairs Specialist for the Social Security Administration. Before I begin, I just want to make sure via head nod, thumbs up, audio sounds good. You guys can all hear me virtually. I know everybody in the room can hear me. I just want to make sure everybody else can hear me, that the audio is good. Great.
Yes, we got you.
Perfect. Help to grab my notes. So, like I said, my name is Vincent Scacosa, Public Affairs Specialist for just about 15 years now, going on 15 years, working through the Bronx, working Manhattan, also Westchester County, just bringing information and updates to community boards, community-based organizations to work with their clients to bring this information to them, help them get access to Social Security benefits. Thank you, Mary Anderson, Chair for the Committee for the Concerns of the Aging, for organizing this and inviting me. Thank you to Ebenezer Smith, for our district manager of this wonderful Community Board 12, for all the technical work that he did to make sure that we have these slides up and running. For nearly 90 years, Social Security has helped secure today and tomorrow by providing benefits and financial protection for millions of people throughout their life's journey. So I'm very excited to share with you a lot of good information about Social Security. So we have three main agenda items today. First, I'll run through the benefits that Social Security has to offer. I want to go through kind of like this, summarize a little bit of each benefit, just so you know that and be aware that what's out there. And then I want to review some of the recent policy changes that have happened over the past year. I know that was a point that Mary wanted me to make sure that we talked about. And then, of course, we want to discuss fraud and abuse, because that's a big issue that we're concerned about with our aging community. and then we'll have some Q&A. And so I want to make sure you have time to answer your questions. Well, I know the answers to all your questions, maybe not, but I will certainly get the answers and get back to you. Social Security offers more than just retirement. We provide a safety net of financial protection for the whole family. We're with you throughout life's journey, whether it's retirement or disability or survivors or other benefits. Social Security is here to help you and millions of others to secure today and tomorrow. Now, first off, I want to talk to you about My Social Security. My Social Security is a convenient and secure suite of services designed to put you in control of your personal Social Security information, as well as help you manage your benefits when you start receiving them. Your account gives you the information you need at your convenience, all without calling or visiting a local office. You can only open a My Social Security account for yourself. You cannot open an account for someone else, even with their written consents. So, I mean, this is important as we continue to age and not be able to maybe it's not so convenient to go to a local office as much. So being able to access your information online gives you the access to your information and ability to make changes online without having to leave your home. In addition to that service, we have another great service. This is the ability to get your Social Security card replaced online. So a lot of times we tend to lose our card or think we even need our card. Sometimes you don't even need the card. It's just enough that you know your Social Security number. But if and when there is a time when you do need the card and you can't find it, you can actually request a replacement online. And as a matter of fact, I brought some of these handy little business card size QR codes with some of the information that you see on the slide. And by the way, this is a bilingual card. So on the back, you have Spanish, and on one side you have Spanish, and on the other side you have English. So this is a nice little card, and I brought a stack of them. And I'll also be sharing this everything that I brought here today. I'll be sharing with you virtually this afternoon. I will send an email with the links to these publications and these facts. I'll send that to Mary so she could disseminate that to the group. But when most people think about Social Security, they think about retirement benefits, and for good reason. Social Security is a lifeline for most retirees, keeping tens of millions of people out of poverty. And when it comes to retirement planning, be sure to check that My Social Security account for your personal earnings information and estimates of your future benefits to help you plan that retirement party. And here's a very important slide here. There's a lot of good information on this slide. When you decide to start receiving retirement benefits, is a personal decision. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, okay? An informed decision about when to apply for benefits based on your individual and family circumstances. Factors that you should consider when deciding the best age to retire: your current cash needs, your health and family longevity, whether you plan to work in retirement, whether you have other retirement income sources, your anticipated future financial needs and obligations, and the amount of your future Social Security benefits. Now, this chart gives you an example of how much a $1,000 retirement benefit or a $500 spouse benefit would be reduced if someone took the benefit at the age of 62. So first step, look at the year of birth. That's the first column, right? Everybody's is different. So depending on when you were born, will determine what your full retirement age is. So you see the full retirement age has steadily risen over the years based on changes that were made to Social Security law back in 1983. Okay, so the full retirement age was raised, but it was a gradual raise, not just a hard raise from 66 to 67. It was gradual. So now everybody born 1960 and up, their full retirement age is 67. All right. Now, if you want to take that benefit as early as 62, this is that third column. Anybody, regardless of what year you were born, can take their benefit as early as age 62. All that, what matters is how much of a reduction you're gonna get, and that's based on what year you were born. Obviously, if you're born in 1960 and your full retirement age is 67 and you want to take your benefit at 62, that's 5 years difference. So the reduction is going to be higher because you're 5 years further away from your full retirement age versus someone at 66 who wanted to take it at 62. That's only a 25% reduction because they're only 4 years away from their full retirement age. So that's kind of how that calculation works. And you can see for someone who's a spouse that wants to take a spouse benefit at 62, they can do that. And we'll talk a little bit more in depth about spouse benefits in a few slides. And I love this slide too. What is the best age to start receiving benefits? We already know that I said that, it's not a one size fits all answer. It's very personal situation for everybody. We went through a list of some of the things to consider, your health and family longevity, your current cash needs and things like that, right? But here's what, if your full retirement age in this case was 67 and your benefit is $2,000, but you decided you want to take the benefit early at age 62, you can see what the $2,000 is going to look like. It's going to look like $1,400. And now you lock that in, that's locked in for life. So once you file that application at 62 and you decide that you want to take your benefits, it's not going to suddenly increase at the full retirement age. A lot of people think that it's going to increase once they reach their full retirement age. No, that's not how it works. How it works is you get your benefit at the age that you decide to start receiving it. That's the amount that it's tied to. Now, will it go up? Sure, it can go up. It can go up if you're still working and your earnings are going to be one of your best 35 years worth of earnings. That's what we use to calculate your benefit, your best 35 years of earnings. So if you're still working and the earnings that you make, let's say this year, are one of your best 35 years, then you will likely get an increase. You'll also likely get an increase due to cost of living adjustment, which we'll talk about. That's one of the changes that is coming for 2025. Well, any questions on, do we ask questions, Joseph? or
We
should I
do.
just go through everything?
This is a loud bunch. but
Oh,
they're-
great.
Right now,
So I just
right now
want-
they're
I'm gonna
quiet.
stop here because there's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of figures. And so, I want to see if anybody had any questions about the age versus amount, that kind of thing. Based on these two slides here. And I'll let Joseph, if you could just
Yeah,
moderate.
if
anybody has
anyone,
any
you can
questions.
chime in.
We're in the room.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Go ahead, James.
So you can retire even at age 70, that's when you can still apply. I
Yeah,
think you get even more than you would if you were normal retirement age of 67 now.
James?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just if you didn't hear, James was curious about the age 70. So you don't have to take your benefit at age 67. You can delay it for as long as up to age 70. And while you're delaying that benefit, you're getting an increase based on not receiving it. So as you can see here, every month, actually, this chart isn't, there's not enough space to put every month here. But if you think about it on a monthly basis, every month, your benefit amount is increasing the longer you delay taking it. That's called delayed retirement credits. And I didn't want to get too deep into all of that stuff for the purposes of this meeting because of time constraints, but we can always do a full-blown, pre-retirement seminar in the future. But we're just doing summary today.
Is that the maximum age that you?
The maximum age is 70. Once you reach age 70, that's why the chart ends there.
Okay.
And it begins at 62 because that's when you can start. There are work restrictions if you decide to take your benefit prior to your full retirement age, but there are no work restrictions once you reach your full retirement age and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Before we move on? Okay, so for the next few slides, we're going to talk about some of the other benefits that are available to you based on eligibility. So we have benefits available for children. A child must have a parent entitled to benefits due to disability or retirement, or a parent who passed away after having worked long enough to be eligible for Social Security benefits. Now, that child must be unmarried. younger than the age of 18, or if they turn 18 and they're still in high school, they can continue to get benefits while they're in high school until either they graduate from high school or they turn 19, whichever comes first. Or if once they reach the age of 19 and they have a disabling condition that began prior to the age of 22, they can continue to get benefits as a disabled adult child. Benefits for a spouse. Now, a spouse who has not worked or has low earnings may be entitled to as much as 1/2 of the retired worker's full benefit. If you're eligible for both your own retirement benefits and for benefits as a spouse, we always pay your own benefits first. If your benefit as a spouse is higher than your own benefit, then you can get a combination of the benefits to equal that higher spouse benefit. Now, and if a spouse wants to get Social Security retirement benefits before they reach their full retirement age, the amount of the benefit is reduced. So the same reductions apply to the spouse as they do to the worker that we just saw on that chart previously. And a lot of people get confused about the spouse benefits. So without going into it too much, right, I'll just say that, again, for a spouse, let's say in a married couple, you have one member of the married couple who worked and one who did not work at all. That spouse who did not work can be eligible for the worker's spouse benefit up to 1/2 of their full retirement age benefit. So in the example that we saw earlier, we saw that the worker was entitled to $1,000 at their full retirement age, and the spouse was entitled to half, right? $500. Now that doesn't mean that the spouse takes $500 away from the worker and the worker only gets $500. No, that means that in addition to the $1,000 that worker gets, the spouse can get an additional $500 at his or her full retirement age, for a total of $1,500 in the household for the two married couple members. All right, now if that spouse decided they wanted to take that benefit at, say, 62 years old, then that benefit will be reduced. So say 30% of $500, right? So that's about what, like $150 less. And that's locked in because you're taking it reduced, you're taking it early. That's an early reduction. And that's how the spouse benefit works. Let's say the spouse worked a little bit, right? If that spouse worked a little bit and they reach their full retirement age, they have to take their own benefit first. If their own benefit is only $300, well, then they can get the additional spouse benefit combined to add up to the $500. So they'll get $300 on their own and an additional $200 as a spouse to equal that full spouse benefit. That's how it works. They have to take their own money first. Divorced spouses can get benefits too. Those same rules apply in terms of like age and how much they can receive if they file prior to their full retirement age. But in this case, it's a divorce situation. So the marriage had to have lasted 10 years. As long as the marriage lasted at least 10 years, then they can be eligible for this divorced spouse benefit. That's really kind of like the only difference. Now, Social Security is there for you when the unexpected happens. You know, we understand that disability can happen at any moment in our lives, and we're here to provide financial support to people when they need it most. For people who can no longer work due to a disability, our disability program is there to replace some of the lost income. Here's a little side-by-side compare and contrast of the two disability programs that Social Security administers. The one on the left is our Social Security disability insurance program. Insurance meaning we pay into it, right? We pay that money out of our earnings, right? FICA. That's what FICA is. Whether it's retirement benefits or disability benefits, the money that you're paying into Social Security is so that you will be eligible to receive this benefit if and when you are eligible for it. So, like I said, first column here, benefits come from the Social Security trust funds and are based on someone's earnings. And it's an insurance that workers earn by paying taxes on the wages. And it pays benefits to people who can no longer work due to a disability, regardless of their income and resources. So that's a contrast to the next program that we're going to talk about. And also, this disability insurance program can pay benefits to workers and adult children with a disability since childhood. So they must also meet an insured status. So there are eligibility requirements. We won't get into the technical stuff. But let's now compare that to supplemental security income, otherwise known as SSI. SSI payments come from a general treasury fund, not the Social Security trust funds. And SSI payments are not based on someone's earnings. This is a needs-based program where eligibility depends largely on limited income and resources, something similar to welfare. This pays people with a disability who are unable to work and have limited income and resources, or pays people who are age 65 and older with limited income and resources. So you have one group on SSI who are receiving SSI due to a disability, and another group who are receiving SSI due to age, and as well as having the limited income, meeting the limited income and limited resources requirements. So that's how those two programs differ, but Social Security is administering both. And when you file an application for disability with Social Security, we will develop for both. The loss of a loved one could be both emotionally and financially difficult. Social Security provides a safety net to help if the unexpected happens. Many children and surviving spouses may receive survivors' benefits to help them cope with financial loss. Here are some of those who would be eligible for survivors' benefits. So we spoke about children earlier, right? Children in a life claim could be eligible if they have a parent who is receiving retirement benefits or disability benefits, or if they had passed away, right? We mentioned that if they had passed away, but were eligible for benefits. Well, in that case, if they had passed away, but were eligible for benefits, the child may be eligible for benefits if they meet that same criteria that we talked about. They're under 18, or if they're still in high school when they reach age 18, they can continue to get benefits until they graduate or turn 19, whichever comes first, or if they have a disability that began prior to the age of 22. Also, the surviving spouse or even a divorce surviving spouse can get benefits. Now, in the surviving spouse and divorced surviving spouse cases, those benefits are paid a little differently. As you can see on the chart, these benefits can start as early as age 60 for someone, or as early as age 50 for someone with a disability, or at any age if they're caring for the deceased worker's a child who has, or under 16 or has a disability and receives those child benefits. So there's a lot of additional eligibility criteria that could be met when we're dealing with survivors' benefits. A couple of other benefits that I like to mention. These are not so well known, but there's a lump sum death payment of $255 one time to a surviving spouse or children who meet certain requirements. Also, parents' benefits for a parent age 62 or older whose son or daughter passed away, and they were receiving at least one half of their support from that child. So that's an interesting one. We don't hear a lot about that one, but that one, it's out there. It's definitely out there. Social Security does some stuff regarding Medicare. We do enrollments, primarily enrollments, but that's about it. Beyond that, there's a completely different agency, government agency, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, CMS, that administers Medicare. But for Social Security purposes, we handle enrollments. So I just like to mention that Medicare has Part A, which is hospital insurance, and Part B, which is the medical insurance. Part A is usually free when you file for your benefits once you reach age 65. Someone want to say something?
Keep going.
Okay. And Part B is comes with a monthly premium, and that is for your medical expenses up to 80%.
Don't do it.
Medical expenses.
Don't do it. It's delayed.
Okay. We also have supplemental insurance coverage or Medigap, and also Part D, which is the prescription drug plan. Now, there are 3 different enrollment periods that you should be aware of. The initial enrollment period is the enrollment period that begins 3 months prior to age 65, the month of age 65, and 3 months after age 65. So that's a 7-month period, initial enrollment period, where you should file for Medicare if you don't have health insurance based on current employment status, whether it's you or a spouse. You don't have to be working. You could be retired. And as long as your spouse is working and has health insurance and you're covered under their health insurance, you don't need to file for Medicare if you don't want to. It's like it's what is it called? Redundant, like, because you already have health insurance. It's unnecessary to have a secondary health insurance because it's not going to act like a supplemental. Well, it will act like a supplemental, but you're paying primary payments, so it doesn't make sense. Part A is free, so you can enroll in that if you like at age 65, regardless. That's a choice up to you. But the initial enrollment period is when you're approaching age 65. The special enrollment period is for those who are continuing to work beyond age 65 and continue to have health insurance through their job, large group health employer, and they decide not to take Medicare while they're still working, and that's fine. You can, because once you stop working and you no longer have health insurance based on current employment status, now your special enrollment period begins. And that's an 8-month rolling period that begins the month beyond the month that you stop working. So you have those 8 months to get filed for Medicare Part B without any type of penalty. And if you don't file for Medicare in one of those 2 enrollment periods, then you will be subjected to the general enrollment period, which begins every year, January, February, and March. Those are the only 3 months in the general enrollment period. So if we can't find that you met one of these first 2 enrollment periods, then you're going to be subjected to the general enrollment period. And that enrollment period may subject you to additional penalties if we find that you did not have health insurance coverage from the time that you turned age 65 and did not take Medicare up until the time that you finally decided to file for Medicare. So be careful about approaching age 65 and be careful about retiring from work and remembering to file for Medicare so that it just kind of you have a nice smooth transition from one health insurance to the other. And it's relatively easy in the special enrollment period, especially if you're already receiving benefits, which some people do. So applying for benefits has never been easier. Filing online for retirement or spouse, disability, or even Medicare only can be done online, nice and easy. Survivors applications cannot be done online at this time, but every day we continue to work internally on adding more options online for folks. We're working on creating this nice, robust suite of online services to make life a lot easier for everyone. But if you prefer to speak to someone in person, you can call and schedule an appointment through our 800 number between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Or you can try to schedule an in-office appointment. Usually in-office appointments are not going to be held for these types of benefits. Usually it's only dire need situations right now for policy, but you can always ask. You can always ask for an in-person, but over the phone is usually sufficient. No one's really complaining about that. So as you can see, Social Security offers a lot more than just retirement. Like I said, we provide a safety net of financial protection for your whole family throughout life's journey, and we're here to help you and millions of others to secure today and tomorrow. And before I continue, and I have some things to talk about with the policy changes, I just wanted to see if there were any other questions at this time regarding the rest of the information that I just shared.
Anyone in the room or online? James, you have a question?
Is this information also available at ssa.gov, or like everything that you've been telling us?
Yeah, absolutely. James wants to know if this information that I'm sharing with you today is available online. The answer is absolutely. If you leave here with anything, any message that I share with you today, it's that our website is fantastic, and there's so many resources that you can utilize to help you prepare for that someday when you decide to file for your benefits.
I have a question.
Please.
First of all, this was so clear and clarifying and helpful. Thank you. I myself am trying to understand it through my own process. I somehow came up with, I don't know if it made any sense, signing up for hospital coverage, even though I'm fully employed, just so I would get into the system in case, listen to this, I don't know if it makes any sense, in case I'm like really out of it, I get sick or something when I lose my job and it's too much to do all those things. So I'm in the system for Part A, and Part B, I would have 8 months to sign up for when I need it, and Part D, correct?
You got it. You nailed it. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa Beth. You nailed it. Yeah, you can sign up for Part A. That's a personal decision. It's free, right? If you're insured for benefits, it's free. So at 65, you could take Part A. It's hospital insurance. You may not use it, but it's like I said, it doesn't matter. You have your own health insurance as well, so maybe it can provide some sort of supplemental. Like I said, CMS, or the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, could probably provide a more intelligent response in terms of what coverages are available to you when you have Part A, in addition to a primary insurance through your current employer. But you're right. Once you stop working, you have that 8-month period to sign up for your Medicare Part B, and we call that the special enrollment period.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
great. Mhm.
Joseph, Liz has her hand up, and there's also question from Alana Dunner in the Q&A.
Let's go in that order.
Okay.
Liz?
Thanks. Yeah, I have a question. If my husband is already collecting Social Security, he's older than I am. I just turned 62. Can I collect my spousal benefit and then wait until I'm 70 to collect my higher retiree benefit?
Okay, so I think I understood it. It was a little, the
Muffled,
audio was a little,
So yeah, so Vincent,
But-
repeat that, please.
but
Yeah.
no. You're asking if you're saying your husband is already receiving Social Security benefits. He's older than you. You just turned 62. You would like to collect his spouse benefit and delay until you reach 70 to switch to yours. The answer is no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Why not?
In yours first, that's what you said, right?
Because you used to be able to do that, but they closed that loophole in about, I believe it was 2014, where they said, when you file for benefits prior to your full retirement age, or at all now, you have to take your own first. And if there's any additional benefit due to you based on a spouse or something like that, then you could take that additional difference. So no longer based on policy, can you have to file for your own benefit first. There's one exception. The exception is in a survivor case. So if he were to, unfortunately pass away, you would be able to take the survivor benefit and delay your own. Now, there's another catch, right? You said you're age 62. So regardless, if you were taking your own benefit or the spouse benefit, because you're still working, there are.
I'm not working.
You're not working?
Correct.
Oh, she said she's not working, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Then I apologize. Then that doesn't come into play. But as long as you are under your full retirement age, those work restrictions would be in play until you reach your full retirement age, in the event that you decided to go back to work or work part-time or what have you. So unfortunately, no. Once you decide to file, you're filing on your own benefit first, and then you could take the difference between yours and what you're entitled to as a spouse.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
Well,
There was one more question? Was there
You might
another?
want to address Alana's questions that are in the Q&A.
Oh, they're in the Q&A. I'm sorry, I'm not
Yeah.
following everything. Okay, Lana, continue. Sorry. The young person, you can see that, or you can't? Only I see it. Okay. The young person is on SSI. How much can they earn without any reduction in any of their benefits, including SSI, SNAP, and Medicaid? That's one question. Then there's so much promotion to change to Medicare Advantage. Is my understanding that original Medicare A, B plus Part D? What's the advantage of having original Medicare Part A and B and D in a Medigap policy? I don't understand any of this
Yeah.
compared to Advantage Plan, PPO. Advantage.
As far as the Medicare question is concerned, I appreciate that, but like that would be better
Medicare.
addressed towards Medicare directly.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you really the ins and outs of whether or not it's more advantageous. I think it's a personal decision based on your needs. That's what I would say. In any situation, you know, especially with the drug plans, you want to look for one that is gonna fulfill your needs, and you're gonna be able to get the medications, prescriptions that you need within, you know, a reasonable distance, right, locally. So in other words, like your local pharmacy should accept that drug plan, things like that. As far as the SSI, that's a little bit outside of what this meeting is in regards to, but yeah, when you're talking about a child, the parents will have limits on how much they can earn before they reach the limit and they work themselves out of eligibility. But that's a little more complicated. There are calculations involved in how we calculate earned income versus unearned income. So I really don't, I don't know how much time we have, but I still have some additional slides that I'd like to cover.
Yes, let's do that. Yeah, we're up to an important part here.
Maybe circle back, time permitting.
Perfect. Okay.
That
So
work?
tell us what's new 2025.
All right, here we go. So some policy changes, first of all. One, you may probably have already heard, 2025 COLA announcement, 2.5%. How do we feel about that? I mean, listen, it's an increase. It is not as high as it was over the past 3 or 4 years, but it's certainly higher than it was over the past, I'd say, 7 years prior to that. So it's a 2.5% increase. I brought with me today.
What does the COLA stand for?
Oh, I'm sorry. The COLA is a cost of living adjustment.
Okay.
So if 2.5%, meaning that, like, you know, whatever your benefit was today, they're gonna increase it by 2.5%. What I brought with me today, and these are the 2025. There's a fact sheet on all the numbers. I don't know if I'm able to put this here, but
no, it's not gonna go too far.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's gonna come out this afternoon. You'll all have it available to you, or they'll post it. And it's also online, like I said. But some of the things to point out is that, like, that's this year, you're getting taxed on up to $168,600 in earnings. Next year, that's going up to $176,100. As you know, you have to have 10 years of earnings in order to be eligible for retirement benefits. 10 years is divided into 40 quarters, or 4 quarters per year. To earn a quarter this year, you would have to have earned $1,730. Next year, you will have to earn $1,810. For those of you who think they may want to collect Social Security, retirement benefits, and continue working, you can work this year up to $22,320 for the year. That's gross. That's the gross amount. Next year, it's going up to $23,400 for the year. That's gross.
And collect. And collect. Who's saying?
And collect Social Security before you get, you know, before there are implications involved. So any dollar amount above that, say $22,000, we will withhold $1 for every $2 over the amount. So let's say
someone comes out of retirement at 74.
the age.
Well, yeah, unless someone starts collecting whatever at 70, it's at 67, and then they get an amazing job offer at 74. So how does that work?
So we already know that doesn't matter, right? Because they're full retirement age already, right? So these earnings do not count. These work earnings do not count against you once you reach your full retirement age. These are strictly amounts that are for those that want to collect Social Security prior to their full retirement age and continue to work.
Got it. But once you hit 67, you're allowed, there are no limits on how much one can earn in addition.
Correct, that's correct. Well, 67 if you were born nineteen,
Right, I understand, right.
19, what is
60.
60, right?
Yeah.
But it could be 66 in 10 months, 66 in 8 months, things like that, right? Could be whatever that is. So some Title II changes. Title II is the Social Security program, that the insurance program, the overpayment withholding. So prior to this change that took effect back in March of this year, prior to this change, when you were overpaid, you got completely cut off, right? And we sent you a notice saying, you're overpaid, so we're gonna withhold your entire check until you pay back your money. Well, now we have a change as of March that says, you're overpaid, we're gonna start collecting 10% or whatever the amount is, right, per month. It's not gonna be a complete full withholding, right? Because that really didn't make sense. I would say 99% of the people who received that notice and whose benefits stopped were calling us saying, I cannot afford to have my entire check withheld and I need to work out a payment arrangement. Speaking of payment arrangements, prior to this change, this is now the third bullet, right? The repayment plan expansion. Prior to this change, when you worked out a withholding, an overpayment repayment plan, you had to have paid it back within 36 months. That's right, 3 years. Now they've changed that to 60. So they're giving you more time to pay it back. More time to pay it back. So those are some of the changes that took place this year. Now let's move on to Title 16, or more commonly known as SSI. The first one is a public assistance household. They changed the definition of a public assistance household, and this is as of September 30th. So this just started not too long ago, a month and change. Now the agency is expanding the definition of a public assistance household to include households receiving SNAP and households where not all members receive public assistance. The expanded definition will allow more people to qualify for SSI, increase some SSI recipients' payment amounts, and reduce reporting burdens for individuals living in public assistance households. So that's a big win-win for the community, right? And that may not be something that you guys see on the surface, right? But for us and for the public, it just makes a lot more folks eligible and relatively easy, just by saying, you know, that they're on SNAP, verified they're on SNAP, they're a public assistance household. That can potentially give them access to the full federal benefit rate, which right now is $943. Next year, it's going up to $967 for an individual. Couples get $1,415 right now.
I think there's some hands raised. Just want to
Next
see.
year, it's going up to $1,450.
Liz, was that you? I'm looking, trying to do both at the same time here, or somebody else had a question?
Yeah.
No, everyone's okay? Okay.
Sorry, that was an old hand. I'll put it down. I thought I had done that.
No problem. Okay, so expanding the SSI rental subsidy. Now, this is something that was implemented nationwide. Okay, but
No, I didn't raise my hand.
I want to raise.
Okay, Carol, please mute, or I'll mute her.
okay, so the agency is expanding its SSI rental subsidy policy due to judicial decisions. Because of judicial decisions, it was only in place in certain states. New York happens to be one of those states, so it's not really affecting us. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's already been in place. But this expansion of this SSI rental subsidy is going to go beyond these 7 states to the entire nation. And basically what it says is that if you're getting some kind of rental subsidy like Section 8 in other states, that Section 8 may count against you and hurt you and in terms of your SSI. Here it doesn't. Here you're getting Section 8, and that's not something that we consider against someone for SSI calculations. So it's not really something affecting us. And then also the agency is no longer including food in in-kind support and maintenance. That's what the ISM, or we call it ISM, right? ISM, in-kind support and maintenance, which is more of an internal, I guess you could call it, like an acronym or SSA jargon that we use when we're doing a calculation of someone's eligibility based on their living arrangement. We consider how the food is distributed in the household, how someone's receiving their food, whether they're sharing their food, and all that stuff was being calculated, and it can get messy and it's gone. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. And again, it's all to help ease the burden of reporting for Social Security, and at the same time, give more people more income who are eligible. So those are the policy changes that have taken effect for the most part for 2024. How are we doing on time, Joseph? Plenty of time?
We're doing okay.
All right,
How much more do you need?
about 2 hours.
Okay, we're good. We're good. You have lunch coming in soon?
Fraud and abuse. I know this is a very important topic, especially in the aging community. And I'm sorry, let me get on my page here. Yeah, we have an obligation to protect the aging from fraud and abuse, and being able to do that means that we need to be aware and we need to understand. So some things that I just want to go through, and maybe you already know this stuff and it's just a refresher, but you never know. The Social Security Administration's Office of Inspector General continues to receive reports from across the country about fraudulent phone calls from people claiming to be from Social Security. All right, we all have heard these phone calls. I'm sure we've all received those phone calls. They're not as prevalent today as they were a few years ago, but there was a time when we were getting them once or twice a day, right? Scam artists go to great lengths to trick you out of your personal information or money. So here's a couple of tips to keep in mind. Understand the threats. Fraudsters use several forms of impersonation, advance fee, and phishing schemes. They might contact you and claim to be from Social Security or the IRS or another government agency and request your information. They may claim that you won the lottery or you become eligible for an investment if you pay an upfront fee. They might design emails or text messages that look legitimate and request your immediate response. The most recent scam is an automated recording stating that your Social Security number has been suspended due to suspicious activity, right? Illegal activities, and that you must call the number provided or your assets will be frozen. If you call the number and provide personal information, the scammer can use it to commit identity theft or other types of fraud. Be aware of these schemes so you can identify them and guard against them. Exercise caution. In general, no government agency or reputable company will call or email you unexpectedly and request your personal information or request advance fees for services in the form of wire transfers or gift cards. Build a habit of verifying the identity of anyone who asks for your personal information over the phone, and say that you will respond through the entity's customer service channels. If anyone pressures you to provide information or money over the phone, it's a scam. Just hang up. Secure your information. This is a big one, guys. Store your Social Security card in a secure location. We talked about earlier needing to get that replacement, right? And 9 times out of 10, it's because you guys do such a good job of securing that card in a hidden spot that you can't find it when you need it, right? So that's why we have to go and get that replacement. But also, shred documents that list personal information like your Social Security number or your bank account information. Avoid opening emails from unknown sources or clicking on suspicious hyperlinks. Equip your computing devices with strong antivirus software and maintain strong passwords. That is such a big one. Oh my goodness, the passwords. How many of you, and don't raise your hand, don't tell me, I don't want to know, how many of you use the same password for everything you do? And I know there's some of you are out there and are guilty of it, and I can tell you that I can personally name some family members of my own that still do that. They have technology now that's out there that's pretty good that you can use as a password manager. So and two-factor authentication. For those who don't know or are familiar, when you sign into your account, whatever it may be, banking or what have you, you should ask the system to send a code to your cell phone. All right, sending a code to your cell phone gives you that second layer of protection. So I'm strongly recommending that. And I'm not allowed to give advice or guidance, things like that, but I'm strongly recommending at the very least, you have that second factor authentication that sends a code to your phone. So not only would the thief have to have your password, but now they have to have your phone too. Scam awareness, yeah, we do contact citizens. Generally, those who have ongoing business with Social Security, we'll call them by phone with customer service purposes. We're also going to send them a notice in the mail. They should be receiving a notice in the mail, but we're never threatening you for information, okay? We're not going to state that you face potential arrest or other legal action if you fail to provide information. Those are fraudulent calls. Hang up. Don't provide any information. Just hang up. For nearly 90 years, Social Security has helped secure today and tomorrow with financial benefits, information, and tools to provide a safety net throughout life's journey. Unfortunately, millions of seniors suffer from elder abuse, several forms of mistreatment, including physical abuse, neglect, or financial exploitation each year. And older Americans lose more than $2.6 billion with the B. $1 billion annually because of these crimes, according to the Administration for Community Living. Raising awareness of elder abuse is very important to Social Security and the Office of Inspector General, because many of Social Security's customers are seniors, and some of them depend on representative payees to receive and manage their Social Security benefits. It is important to learn the signs and increase awareness of these threats to seniors and help people identify and prevent cases of elder abuse. Anyone could be a victim. However, there are things that you could do to help protect yourself and others from abuse and neglect. Learn to spot some red flags. I'll give you some examples. Isolation, especially by a caregiver. Unpaid bills or utilities that have been turned off. Unusual or quick changes in a will or other financial documents. Missing medications, or bruises or welts, especially on the face. Even if you're not certain abuse is taking place, you can report any suspicions of abuse so a professional can investigate by contacting Adult Protective Services in your state. Stay connected. Prevent isolation. Elders without strong social networks face a greater risk of abuse, neglect, or exploitation. It's up to all of us to ensure that our communities are supporting and engaging older adults. One simple way to do this is by staying in touch with the older adults in your community. Knock on the neighbor's door just to say hi, or start an intergenerational book club or night or movie night. I know we had an event a couple of weeks ago, and we had the doctor come in and they gave a beautiful presentation about how they're engaging and with the aging community and how they're helping them deal with depression and things like that, and how they're organizing events like dancing and yoga at the Armory. And it's just like, that's a great example of how to help prevent this elder abuse and exploitation. So I wanted to bring up that was a great event last, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or so? Good stuff. Avoid sharing personal information. Never provide personal information over the phone unless you place the call and know who you're talking to. Sign up for direct deposits. Signing up for direct deposit of your income so that things like pensions and Social Security goes directly to your secure accounts. I can't tell you how many times, like those Social Security checks that come in the mail, they're easily identifiable, unfortunately. So if someone who knows and sees that envelope, you know, it may disappear. And we get that a lot, and then we have to go through, and it's a headache to go through the process of getting them a replacement check. Unfortunately, it's a headache because we have to go through the process with the Treasury Department to verify that their signature on the back is not their signature and where it was cashed and all this and that. So it's a headache. Avoid that. Sign up for direct deposit. Consult with someone you trust. Don't be pressured or intimidated into an immediate decision. Don't sign any documents that you don't completely understand without first consulting an attorney or a family member you trust. And again, I mentioned this earlier, shred documents. Tear up and shred the documents with personal information on them before disposing them in the trash. I can tell you with certainty that, my father is, he loves to hoard his bills and all his documents. He has just boxes and boxes of them in the basement. And I show him this stuff all the time. And I say, Dad, please shred this stuff. Not only is it susceptible to being, taken and used for identity theft, but it's also a fire hazard. This is a lot of kindling here, to start a nice little fire. So, does he listen? I don't know. I'll let you know the next time I go over there. I told him about this over the weekend. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, did you know that there were over 5.4 million reports of fraud, identity theft, and other reports to the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, in 2023? And 1 in 5 people lost money in imposter scams in 2023, totaling $2.668 billion. That's basically one person in this room, right? There's 5 of us in this room. Ebenezer stepped out. 1 of us was scammed. That's crazy. That's a lot. That's too much. We have to be more vigilant. If you suspect fraud, there's the national do not call list, right? You get these telemarketing calls all the time. Go to that website. It's a .gov website. Remember, the .gov websites are safe, right? Do not call .gov. Add your cell phone number. Add your phone numbers to this website so that these telemarketers stop calling you. Does it always work? No. Do you have to re-add it every once in a while? Yes, but it helps. Believe me, it helps. You can also report if you suspect fraud or financial exploitation to oig.ssa.gov, Office of Inspector General, to report the suspicion of fraud or financial exploitation. And then if you suspect elder abuse, call the elder care locator at that 800 number, or visit the eldercare.acl.gov for help with that. Here's some examples of identity theft. We know what or misuse and what the impact is on the victims. Someone can open a credit card in your name, or get a loan, or apply for employment, or get medical care, or use your social security number illegally. And the impact is maybe you get denied a loan, maybe you get denied public benefits, or denied medical care, or getting harassed by a debt collector for debt that you didn't incur. There are lawsuits, plus stress, anxiety, and embarrassments. We know you hear about all the reports of the fraud. What you don't hear about are those who don't report it because they're too embarrassed to. And trust me, that's a large number too. That's a large number. There may be one of you here in the audience today who's a victim who never bothered to report it because of embarrassment. And that's okay. And all the time and the expenses that you have to spend on recovery. It's a lot. I like this website, identitytheft.gov. It's a great place to go. A personal recovery plan walks you through each step. You can create an identity theft affidavit and to review and update at any time. Customize pre-filled letters to send to credit bureaus, businesses, and debt collectors. And you can always, it's dynamic, so you can keep an update the plan, track your progress, and it also provides advice about what to do if you're affected by specific data breaches. We have social media. We are in the age of social media. It's everywhere you look. Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or even go to our own website at Social Security for information on our blogs, our press releases, and other publications. Follow us on social media. I'll open the floor again for any other questions. I'm not an expert in all of these topics, but I will answer the question to the best of my knowledge, or get the answer because I'm really good at research. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you.
Hi, Mary. It's Mariam. I have a question.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, the question is I have someone that went back to work. I think 71, 72 now. They continue to get their social security. And how is that? That's not affected, right? Because they're past the retirement age. But does
Sure.
that add to their social security?
Is that what?
It doesn't add, meaning they've been taking
Maybe, like we said earlier, right? If he's working.
35 years, this is.
And the earning, exactly, Joseph was paying attention, right? So if the earnings are one of his best 35 years, that year is gonna replace the lowest year. And yes, they could get an increase, absolutely.
Because
So
the person brought a letter to me where they did get an increase.
Right,
Is that only for that year, that last year?
yeah, it's only, well, the increase is indefinite, right? The increase remains the same throughout, and it's based on a new calculation of their 35 best years of earnings. Because they worked the prior year, that prior year's earnings replaced one of their lowest year. And now you have a recalculation with the new best 35 years, and that leads to an increase, a slight increase.
Okay, so would that go for every year that they continue to work or no?
It will only increase if it's one of the best 35 years. Eventually, they'll get to the point where their best 35 years are better than what they're currently earning.
Okay.
Or maybe not. But that's a scenario that could happen.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Joseph Irwin had a question before, and now he's been promoted, so maybe he wants to ask his question.
Hello, good morning, all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a quick question. Do they specify what the reporting burdens the definition of, or what reporting, one second, hold on, sorry. Do they specify which reporting burdens will not be required moving forward? I heard you say that they took some of those off for the SSI specifically.
Yeah, well, what's not required moving forward? Let me get back to that policy here, so that I can make sure I'm speaking on the right one here. So, policy changes for SSI, we're saying that, the definition of the public household, right? We talked about that one, so I don't think that's the one you're talking. Omitting, food in-kind support and maintenance calculations. That new policy removes a critical barrier for SSI eligibility due to an applicant's or recipient's receipt of informal food assistance from friends or family or community networks. So that no longer applies. Yeah. How they receive food is not going to impact what their amount is or could be.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, please, James.
Well, you were talking, this is probably a dumb question, but I'm kind of dumb at times. Overpayment, what, I don't understand what the overpayment is. Is it an overpayment that you pay into Social Security, or that you're receiving too much? I just define what overpayment is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so James is just wanting a little clarity on how you can incur an overpayment. So I'll give you a couple of examples. We talked about taking Social Security benefits prior to your full retirement age. So if you're taking your retirement benefit prior to your full retirement age and you continue to work, there are earnings restrictions, right? I mentioned this year the earnings restrictions is $22,320. And if you go over that amount, we have to withhold $1 for every $2 that you exceeded that amount. Now, we may not find out this information until after the fact, right? Because let's say it's 2024 right now, and you filed for your benefits at age 62 back in March, and you weren't working at the time. And then someone approached you with a really nice job opportunity in June, right? So you started working in June, and you're all excited, and you totally forgot that there are work limitations when you're collecting Social Security benefits. Well, guess what? You told us you weren't working, so we don't know. But all of a sudden, next year in 2025, the IRS is going to send us your earnings for 2024. And those earnings, let's say there are $32,000 in earnings. 32,000 minus the limit of 22,000 is $10,000 over the limit. So if we have to withhold $1 for every $2 over the limit, we have to withhold $5,000. If we already paid you all of your money for 2024 in Social Security benefits, now you're overpaid. And now we have to send you a letter saying that you were overpaid $5,000 because you went over the earnings limit by 10,000. So we're going to withhold $1 for every $2. And so you owe us $5,000 back. So we're going to, so please send us a check.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's one example. It's probably the best one.
Wow. Okay, any other questions? It's definitely very full, chock full of information over here. I think the main thing we learned is that there are so many details that's why we need to reach out to somebody, whether at Social Security when we have questions, because there are the variables here, each individual's situation changes, and you gave us a great overview, but obviously there's thousands and thousands of scenarios.
Yeah, I can probably spend an hour on each one of these slides, right?
So many,
But I think that one of the important things to take away from today is use our website.
Yeah.
Go online, use our website, sign up for your My Social Security account. You'll have to sign up through login.gov. That you'll understand when you go to mysocialsecurity.gov and then click on create a My Social Security account. And you'll see that you can use your login.gov to create that account. So you'll have to go jump through a few hoops to create the account. And that's intentional because it shouldn't be easy to just sign up for an account, because we're not talking about just, signing up for any old access, right? We're talking about signing up for access to your Social Security information, your earnings, and filing for benefits if you want to, and things like that. So naturally, we want to vet and make sure that you are exactly who you say you are. So we give the account to the person who it belongs to. So yeah, you will have to probably take a picture of your photo ID and upload it to login.gov to create the account. But if you have trouble, you can always walk into your local office and ask for an activation code, where we will take your ID and verify it for you in our system and hand you an activation code, which you can use to then go and kind of bypass all the uploadings of the IDs and stuff yourself. We can do it for you in the local office.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. In the thinking about the time of the rest of the meeting, we're going to move on at this point.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no
Vincent.
problem.
We only have
Thank
a few minutes. You're welcome to stay.
Great.
Please.
Yeah.
Do we have any thoughts in terms of anything to share? Old business, new business, the last things on the agenda: old business, new business, future speakers, announcements. We have to move through that a little bit quickly. Mary, do you have anything to share about some of the plans for upcoming
Yeah,
topics?
I'll just briefly run through that. As far as old business, I just wanted to share as far as the capital and expense budget. I'm sure all the committee members got the results. But I can say just briefly that all of our requests have gotten into the top 25 items, which are usually the ones that get submitted for further consideration by the city agencies. So, that was a good thing. New business, I don't have too much. I don't have anything under new business at the moment. Future speakers. I have a request from YCAP at Columbia that are doing the Alzheimer's research. They have another initiative that they're getting involved in and would like to present it to the committee. Also, the second thing is that we had a presentation.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that organization?
It's by Columbia, the people that are doing the Alzheimer's research, but it's a new initiative called BOLD, B-O-L-D. And I have a brief description of it, but I don't want to take up time at the moment. But it's an important thing that's going to be community-based, and they'd like to present that as soon as possible. I thought we could do that in December, unless anybody has any objections. Another possible future speaker, Columbia and was at the Traffic and Transportation Committee meeting the other night. They have, through the Academy bus,
Shuttle bus.
shuttle bus. Thank you, James. A shuttle bus service that the disabled and seniors are entitled to ride in the community. And I thought it would be easier if we had them come to present to us what they're offering. They do have their buses are, if anybody's seen Columbia buses, they're red. Some of them are red, white, and blue. But they assured me that they have accessible buses, ramps, etc., to be able to accommodate disabled seniors. I don't know the extent of, where they go. I don't have those specifics written down, but I thought it would be a great thing to have presented to us.
May I add to that, Mary? Because I'm on the Traffic and Transportation Committee, and I saw that presentation. What it is Columbia University and their medical students here, they have buses that take them from one facility to another.
Right.
And what they're allowing the community to do, whether if you're disabled or an elderly, they allow you to use that bus, and there are designated stops, and he can explain the routes and everything, and it's a free ride for anyone who needs it.
Right. So I thought that would be helpful to have a presentation because maybe I can use it too. And also Gail Cohen, who is the new director of the director of the Aging in Place program at the Y, would like to do a presentation about her programming. So those are the things I have.
Question, Mary?
Yes.
Are we planning any site visits in the future, holding our meeting at various?
Weren't we going to go to ARC or something in the coming month?
Right. Okay. I'm sorry. ARC is not available right now because they don't have a working microphone for the audience, so that presents a difficult decision. I did speak to the director of the Star Senior Center, and they are willing to accommodate us for our December meeting.
We are, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
And Liz has a hand up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that if the folks at the Y want to give a presentation, wouldn't it make sense to maybe have, I don't know, our January meeting at the Y, and then they could easily give a presentation. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Sounds good to me.
Makes sense.
Okie dokie. And I'm pretty sure they are well set up.
Yeah, we've had meetings every
tech. Yeah, particularly since they have some of their programming at the church on 181st Street. We could maybe do it there, which is a great location, really central.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What church is that?
Fort Wash you're referring to?
Liz, what church is that?
Yes, they at the Holyrood Church, 181st.
Oh, Holyrood.
I'm sorry, not Holyrood. The Collegiate Church at 181st Fort Wash.
We've also been at the Y on Nagel before for meetings not so long ago.
Yeah.
Richard maybe has his hand up, or it's an old hand.
He's an old hand.
I didn't want to
Someone
go
just stole my line. Just seems like the right moment to mention. Dory Garcia asked me to communicate that she had a work meeting she couldn't get out of this morning and apologizes for not being here.
Right. I'd mentioned that actually at the beginning of the meeting so that we could mark her excused.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so with that, we have what to look forward to. And we thank Vincent again. And this was a great meeting, very, very informative.
And I just want to add one thing.
Yeah.
Between Zoom and in person, 8 of our 9 people
Yeah,
are in attendance at this meeting. Wow, I'm quite grateful for that. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
very helpful. Okay, anyone share a motion to adjourn at
Motion to
11:57?
adjourn.
Okay, I will second that. We're gonna adjourn at 11:57 a.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was great.
Thank you very much.